how's it going? This is Nanice, and this is your astrology reading for the new moon in Libra, which is happening on Wednesday, October the 6th at 1:04 p.m. Cairo, Egypt time. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. Please subscribe if you have not yet done so. Thank you to all my existing subscribers. Your support means a lot to me. And if you are here, please write a comment to let me know that you are here. By doing so, you're helping with the algorithms to promote this channel. And please hit the like button and please share this video with your friends. So this new moon is happening in the sign of Libra, which is a sign that is concerned about truth, beauty, fairness, and justice. It is symbolized by the scales of justice themselves, like the scales, that's constantly balancing. And Libra is about bringing things into balance. It's not about the state of being balanced. It's working on being balanced. And it is a sign, it's Venus ruled, and it is concerned with diplomacy, relationships, tact, grace, and the beauty of the mind, as well as beauty of ideas. So a new moon means a new start. There's a new seed that is being planted at this time. And it is happening alongside Mars and Mercury. So there's the moon, Mars, the sun, and Mercury all together in Libra at this time of the new moon. So what this tells me is it's a little bit of a tricky new moon. It can swing either directions, kind of like the scales, because Libra is a tricky place. It's a tricky position for both the sun and Mars. The sun likes to shine out from the crowd. It likes to be chosen. It likes to be select. It likes to express itself, and it's kind of concerned about like me, like look at me, look at how I shine, and look at how I'm different from the rest. This is kind of like Leo sun energy. And in the sign of Libra, when the sun rules Leo. So the sun in the sign of Libra is known traditionally to be in its fall, where it can't do that. It has to consider the other. It's more interested in we rather than me. And the sun is also about leadership. So leadership can be somehow challenged because there needs to be high levels of diplomacy to be able to bring harmony amongst different me's, like, a group of people's, like, me. There's like a whole bunch of me's. And in the sign of Libra, the sun has to consider all these different me's and somehow harmonize them. So it's a little bit of a tricky place for the sun to function. And there's a similar kind of situation going on with Mars, where Mars doesn't like being in the sign of Libra so much. It's not comfortable there. It prefers to be in Aries or Scorpio or Capricorn. In Libra, Mars has to also consider others. Mars is symbolic of our individual will, of our libido, of our courage to act. And Mars likes to battle, and although whether that's for a good cause or not. And in the sign of Libra, it's not comfortable to it doesn't have the tools it wants to battle openly. It has to be more diplomatic, and it has to be considerate of others. It can't just exert its will like it can in Aries, Capricorn, or Scorpio. It has to consider the other people in the picture. So Mars traditionally doesn't really like being in Libra either. So we have two planets that don't, that are kind of having trouble being themselves in Libra in this new moon. So, and there's a Mercury retrograde happening as well. And this part of the Mercury retrograde, we've been in Mercury retrograde for about a week now, but this particular part of Mercury retrograde, where Mercury is moving in a backwards motion towards the sun, is known to be a little bit of a tricky part of the retrograde. It's like a sick person retreating into its deathbed. I know it sounds pretty grim, but it's not like it's not like that, but it's a phase where not Mars, excuse me. It's a phase where Mercury is old and dying and like shedding out like its dross and whatever it's like not needed anymore. It's like kind of pulling it out of its body. So it's we could be challenged in the realms of communications and transport and the coming and going of things. So if you're like sending things like mail or courier, like these kind of things like transport, commerce, these things could be a little bit challenged around this new moon, which means for the upcoming lunar cycle, for the upcoming month, we could be encountering these things as well. The thing to remember is that during a retrograde, it is known that the planet loses its own volition and it is completely acting on divine will. So know that these events that are happening during this tricky part of Mercury retrograde are not to make your life miserable, or not to make you miserable. It's supposed to be like this. There's a divine intelligence behind this. It's making us see things in a different way, and it's up to us to notice the wisdom behind these kind of things that happen that are not planned the way we want it to. And sometimes the best things can happen when, you know, things happen the way we don't plan it to be. So be open to that rather than like butt your head against things not working out the way you want it to. Kind of go with the flow and surrender yourself to divine wisdom, like Mercury is doing right now. That's what Mercury is doing. Mercury is surrendering its motion to God through the retrograde. So when I look at all of this, when I look at Mars, the Sun, and the Mercury retrograde, I feel that during this upcoming lunar cycle, things can swing either way. Things can go on either side of the scale. And it can lead to passive aggression. It can lead to frustration. And or on the other side, if we surrender ourselves to God's will, if we surrender ourselves and realize that, you know, we're kind of going for the ride here and we're just doing the best we can, and if we're open to things that we didn't plan, and if we're open to considering other people and to helping others, not just ourselves, and we shift our focus on serving, that this could be a great month of being part of God's work, of being part of divine wisdom. So I feel that the choice is ours, which way we want to swing. And during this lunar cycle, we're really going to notice that, and things are really going to shift from here onwards towards the end of the year on where we want to place our focus. Do we want to place our focus on serving ourselves and you know, being frustrated in the process, or being part of God's divine plan? So that's all I have for the collective portion of this reading. I'm going to go through each sign, so please check. First choice is check your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, I have the rising sign calculator in the comments. And if you don't know your birth time and you can't find out your rising sign, you can go with your sun sign if you're born during the day, and or the moon sign if you're born during the night. If you don't know what time of the day you were born, you can just go by your sun sign. So for Aries, this new moon is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, one-on-one relationships, romantic relationships, your spouse, business partnerships, and clients. So there's going to be a new seed that is being planted surrounding these topics, combined with the things that I discussed in the themes I discussed in the collective part of this reading. For Taurus, this new moon is happening in your 6th house of daily routines, sickness, toil, labor, workers, employees, and pets. So there's going to be a new beginning surrounding these topics, one or more of these topics, mixed with the themes that I mentioned in the collective portion of this reading. For Gemini, this new moon is happening in your 5th house of good fortune. There's going to be a new beginning surrounding the topics of children, pregnancy, creativity, recreation, hobbies, and anything that you find pleasurable. For Cancer, this is happening in your 4th house of foundations, home, family, parents, ancestry, the father, land, property, hidden riches, secrets, mysteries, and things beneath the ground and the grave. So there may be a new start having to do with one or more of these topics. For Leo, this is happening in your 3rd house of siblings, extended family, neighborhood, neighbors, folk culture, communications, short distance trips, writing, reading, everyday commute. So there's going to be a new beginning surrounding these topics that I just listed. For Virgo, this is happening in your 2nd house of personal possessions, movable possessions, money, personal resources, and assets, including your time and your skill set. So there's going to be a new beginning surrounding these topics. For Libra, this is happening in your 1st house. It's going to be a very personal new moon for you. And it's going to be including the topics of health, vitality, character, spirit, and psychology. So you're going to find something new, a new start having to do with those topics. For Scorpio, this is happening in your 12th house of hidden enemies, secrets, self-sabotage, addictions, hospitals, monasteries, psychological or mental health, retreats, prison, isolation, and ego loss. So this is a little bit of a tricky new moon happening in a tricky part of the sky for you. So there's going to be a new start having to do with those topics that I just listed. For Sagittarius, this is happening in your 11th house of friends, social groups, allies, benefactors, and wishes for the future. There will be a new beginning during this new moon in Libra surrounding these topics. For Capricorn, this is happening in your 10th house of career, public reputation, what you are known for in the public, how you spend your days. So for example, if you don't have a career, you could be a stay-at-home parent or a caretaker. So it's what you basically do with your time and what people know you for. So there's going to be a new beginning surrounding these topics. For Aquarius, this is happening in your 9th house of God, higher education, spirituality, mysticism, religion, astrology, law, politics, and long distance trips, and foreign countries, foreign people, foreign things. So there's going to be a new beginning surrounding those topics. For Pisces, this is happening in your 8th house of death, taxes, loans, debts, inheritance, and karmic debts. So a sense of owing something to someone or someone owing something to you. A little bit of a tricky part of the sky, but there will be a new beginning surrounding those topics that I just listed. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm wishing you all a very, very blessed new moon, and I'll be speaking to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.